Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about a little show that is something that I didn't discover until recently, but has apparently been around for a very long time. So I wanted to keep these pristine, but if you'll cheers with me, cheers to you. Because I just finished the Nana anime and I am currently reading the manga. We are just starting on volume 16 here. So I think I really just want to talk to everyone about this show before I get into I just want to talk to you guys about the show. That's it. We'll just leave it at that. I feel like sometimes I make plans and then, but what I wanted to focus on the most, I think, today is the anime and how the anime really is like an ode to your 20s, but also you can relate to it in your 30s if you're like me, or I think if you're a teen as well. It's such a timeless show, and I just want more people to learn about it. And the reason I discovered it, you guys, is I was watching Oshinoko, which I've talked about, and I saw it was like recommended by High Dive. This is not sponsored, by the way, and I've never had anything sponsored, but High Dive had like this recommendation. It was like, oh, you should watch Nana, and I had heard about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm finally gonna do it. And this is the first time, I think, okay, that's not true. I'd say Banana Fish and Fruits Basket are the other two, but this is one of the first times I found such an amazing shoujo, and this is one that I think is almost a josei. So what I mean by that, if you're new to anime, is I just mean it was targeted for women when it was written, which is cool. I think I love my seinen and shonen as well, as you guys know. I think I talk mostly about seinen anime, if I'm being honest, but the first anime I ever saw really that was a show was shoujo, and I do feel like it's like missing a lot from the contemporary sphere. Anyways, long tangent aside, if you're in your 30s like me, I think you're gonna watch it and feel nostalgia, not just because it's a lot like being in your 20s. It captures the feeling of being in your 20s so well, but it has like music from our like teenagehood-ish, and like this fashion is very much there, which is cool. I definitely liked sort of this punk rock. I never dressed in it, but I enjoyed all of the music from it when I was a teenager. So it was pretty nostalgic in that way. But then, yeah, the show will just really connect with you. I think if you're in your 30s, you'll feel nostalgic. If you're in your 20s, you'll feel like this is so relatable to me right now, probably. And if you're younger than that, I think it's a learning experience. And I think genuinely it's one of the most like feminist anime that I've seen, in that, it talks about toxic love a lot, which you guys know from my other videos if you've seen them. I find all of that very fascinating. But yeah, maybe I should tell you guys what it's about if you haven't seen it. So it's about this girl named Hachi. Her name's not Hachi, her name's Nana. And this other girl named Nana, but they're like on paper complete opposites. So Nana 1, here you go. Nana 1, she's more like preppy, maybe is the word, just more like very her persona is more like friendly. And then the other Nana, I think it's Nana H and Nana O, is more into the punk rock scene, and so some people find her a little more intimidating, and so they make this cool connection on a train, and that's kind of how it starts the whole story. And that, I know that doesn't sound extremely exciting, but it is. You follow both of their sort of like what makes them them, like what has shaped them to get to, I think they're 20 when it starts, right? What has shaped them to get to be where they are at 20 years old, and like their love experiences and all that. And I think when you're in your teens or 20s, at least for most people, as it was for me, I think love is a huge part of that. You know, you're trying to figure out who you are and who you are in relation to other people, but also like, what do you want in a partner, and things like that. And the only way to really learn that, I think, is through experience. So, you know, I can say for me personally that watching Nana was a lot like looking at my early 20s, and a lot of, you know, mistakes that were made. Like, the reason I think I can talk about toxic relationships is obviously like I've personally experienced them, is all I'll say. And yeah, if you ever have, you will definitely be like, wow. Or if you're, but also it captures the feeling of your 20s, and like, you know, they both these Nanas, you're probably like, well, why were they on a train? Well, they're both going to Tokyo. And so this is like their first time out on their own, and, you know, trying to figure out, like, it goes into the little things. Like, it really feels like how it feels when you're in your early 20s. Like, how do I rent an apartment? How do I get a refrigerator? How do I afford to eat? How do I get a job? Like, it goes through all of that. But then, yeah, the biggest thing I think to me is it really, like, it's kind of a bit of a warning story, if you will, as well. Like I said, about toxic relationships. And there's also like healthy, like, friendships and things sprinkled in there, but yeah, it's kind of a gold mine, if you will, about that, about toxic relationships. But I really think in your early 20s, you experience that okay, maybe not the most, if it depends on if you end up in a serious relationship with someone toxic, but probably the most is in your early 20s, because you're really trying to figure out sort of like how the opposite sex, if you will, or the same sex, you know, whatever your preference, how they operate, you know, how love operates, how dating operates. It's all very confusing, I feel. Or at least that's what I remember. It's been a while, you guys. I've been with my husband for like 7 years now, at least since our first date. So yeah, I'm not a dating expert by any stretch of the imagination at this point, but yeah, I feel like that's when you figure that out. You figure out what you like, and like what kind of person you like, all of that. It just captures it extremely well. And I don't know what else I can say non-spoilery. I mean, there's such a wonderful cast of characters. Like, I've always been into, I think, a really dynamic cast who with interesting people and backstories. So whether that's Golden Kamuy or Legend of the Galactic Heroes or this, like, they all kind of have that thing. And so I hope more people watch it, and not just like women, but men too. And like I said, even if you're in your teens, the art style is going to be a little vintage to you, probably, because let's see, I don't even want to think, if you're a teenager and it's 2023, 2000, and you'd be 23. So if you're 18, you would have been born in 2005. Wow, okay. So the anime, if you're 18, the anime would have aired around the time you were born. So you're gonna feel like this is a very vintage anime. And that's fair enough, because that would be like me seeing an anime from like the 70s, I guess, which would definitely feel very vintage to me. But you will relate, I think, or you will maybe not relate. It depends how many like relationships you've had, but you will probably find it relatable as you move into your 20s. And because the characters are just timeless. Issues they go through are timeless. I think that's what makes it such a beautiful story. So I think you should check it out even if you're a teenager. I think you will find it interesting. And I think some of the style is coming back from the 90s now. Obviously, please check it out if you haven't. It's genuinely, I think, again, I love Banana Fish and Fruits Basket, but I think this is the best for me out of those. But I hate to categorize something just on, oh, it was demographic for women, you know. So I'm comparing it to all the anime I love. I think it's genuinely one of my all-time favorites now. It's up there for me with like Attack on Titan, which is like such a different vibe. It's up there for me with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think, honestly, this is the first anime I have binged so quickly since Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, if that gives you an idea of how much I loved it. Like it's up there. It's like in the top 3. It's so good. So anyways, I hope you guys check it out. I'm probably gonna film right now another video for you guys on this topic. So look out for that soon, and I'll see you in the next one.